Welcome to Global Lens. Please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you. Let's start. In 2026, the world's attention has turned to a remote military outpost in the South China Sea. Imagine, just for a moment, a sudden clash, just a few shots fired between Chinese and Philippine vessels near this tiny base. Within hours, news broadcasts flash urgent headlines from Manila to Washington and Beijing. The world's largest navies are put on alert. This is not just a local dispute. The South China Sea is a crossroads for more than a third of global maritime trade. A single incident here could spark a crisis drawing in the United States, China, and their allies. In an era of rising tensions, the risk of miscalculation is greater than ever. Military planners warn that even a minor confrontation could escalate quickly. With hypersonic missiles, advanced fighter jets, and carrier groups already deployed in the area, the stakes are high. The base, overlooked for years, now sits at the center of a potential global conflict. This essay explores why one small Philippine military base could be the flashpoint for World War III. The base in question is the BRP Sierra Madre, a World War II-era ship run aground by the Philippines on 2nd Thomas Shoal, also known as Ayungin Shoal, in 1999. Located just 105 nautical miles from Palawan, it is well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, but also claimed by China. Marines stationed on the derelict ship serve as the country's first line of defense. 2nd Thomas Shoal sits near the center of the Spratly Islands cluster. This area is dotted with reefs, sandbars, and outposts built by several nations. Its location is strategic. Controlling the shoal means projecting influence over vital sea lanes and rich fishing grounds. Despite being little more than a rusting hulk, the BRP Sierra Madre is symbolically and strategically important. Its presence asserts Philippine sovereignty, and any move to remove or replace the crew could draw an immediate military response. For both Manila and Beijing, this small outpost represents much more than just a piece of wreckage. It is a test of resolve and a symbol of national pride. The U.S.-Philippine relationship dates back over a century, shaped by colonial history and shared security interests. After World War II, America built major bases at Subic Bay and Clark Air Base, making the Philippines a cornerstone of U.S. presence in Asia. The 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty still binds the two countries. In the 1990s, the end of the Cold War led to the closure of large U.S. bases. But as China expanded into the South China Sea, Manila sought renewed American support. The grounding of the Sierra Madre was part of this effort, a way to hold territory without major infrastructure. In 2014, the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, allowed U.S. forces limited access to Philippine bases once again. This pivot was driven by the need to counterbalance China's growing military presence in the region. The BRP Sierra Madre, while operated by the Philippines, is a visible reminder of these shifting alliances and the enduring link between Manila and Washington. Recent years have seen a dramatic increase in U.S.-Philippine military cooperation. In 2023, the two countries agreed to expand EDCA to 4 more bases, including strategic sites near Taiwan and the South China Sea. The number of joint military exercises has doubled since 2020. Official data from the Philippine Department of National Defense shows regular rotations of American troops, fighter jets, and surveillance aircraft to EDCA sites. In April 2025, the Balakatan, or shoulder-to-shoulder, exercises included over 17,000 troops and featured amphibious assaults and live-fire drills near 2nd Thomas Shoal. These drills are not just symbolic. They include logistics, cyber defense, and rapid deployment scenarios, training for real-world contingencies in the South China Sea. The expanded agreements and visible American presence have made the BRP Sierra Madre a red line for both Manila and Washington, raising the risk of confrontation with China. China claims nearly 90% of the South China Sea using what's called a 9-dash line that's been drawn on maps since the 1940s. This claim actually overlaps the exclusive economic zones of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei. In recent years, Beijing has built artificial islands, runways, and missile sites all throughout the region. According to official charts from the Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative, there are at least 7 major Chinese bases in the Spratly and Paracel Islands. These outposts support radar systems, jet fighters, and surface-to-air missiles. Chinese Coast Guard and Navy vessels routinely patrol near Second Thomas Shoal, and sometimes they even block Philippine resupply missions. Beijing insists its claims are, quote, indisputable, ignoring a 2016 international tribunal ruling that favored the Philippines. Tensions have really surged as China uses water cannons, lasers, and aggressive maneuvers to assert control. The situation is volatile. Each Chinese buildup or incident raises fears that a deliberate or accidental clash could trigger a larger conflict. The South China Sea is not just a regional issue. It is, honestly, a global flashpoint. The United States, Australia, Japan, and the United Kingdom conduct what they call freedom of navigation operations to challenge China's claims. NATO and the European Union have called for respect of international law. Australia and Japan have signed new defense pacts with the Philippines, pledging joint patrols and intelligence sharing. India has increased its naval visits and offered support for regional security. Even Canada and France, they send warships through the disputed waters. At the same time, Russia has conducted joint drills with China, signaling its own interests in the region. The web of alliances and rivalries ensures that any conflict could draw in multiple nuclear-armed powers. Global trade relies on these sea lanes. Insurance rates for shipping have surged due to the risk of blockade or war. The world is watching closely, knowing that local tensions could have far-reaching consequences. The path from a local skirmish to global war is not just theory, it has real precedents. In 2024, a collision between Chinese and Philippine Coast Guard ships at Second Thomas Shoal led to injuries and, well, a tense standoff. While cooler heads prevailed, the incident showed how quickly things could spiral. If Chinese forces were to forcibly remove the Philippine garrison from the BRP Sierra Madre, Manila could invoke the U.S.-Philippine Mutual Defense Treaty. American forces already in the region might respond with air or naval patrols. China could then escalate by deploying more ships, fighter jets, or missiles. Such a chain reaction could bring in Japan, Australia, and other allies. Cyber attacks, blockades, or missile launches could follow within hours. The speed of modern warfare and the overlapping alliances mean that leaders might have only minutes to make decisions. History is full of examples where miscalculation led to disaster. The risk at Second Thomas Shoal is that a small spark could ignite a global blaze. The BRP Sierra Madre on Second Thomas Shoal is more than a forgotten ship. It is in fact a front line in a contest for control of the South China Sea. Its strategic location, just outside the Philippine coast, makes it a red line for both Manila and Beijing. U.S.-Philippine military agreements have raised the base's profile and made it a symbol of alliance. Meanwhile, China's massive buildup and aggressive tactics have increased the risk of confrontation. The region's importance for global trade and security means that any conflict here would not stay local. With so many powers involved, even a minor incident could have serious, unpredictable consequences. The world must pay attention. The fate of one tiny base could shape the future of peace or war in the 21st century. The story of the BRP Sierra Madre and Second Thomas Shoal is still unfolding. Efforts at diplomacy continue, but military posturing and new alliances raise the stakes. The question is not just who controls a rusting ship, but who will shape the balance of power in Asia. How can the world reduce the risk of war while protecting the rights of smaller states? Can great powers find a path to share the South China Sea peacefully? As tensions rise, the fate of this tiny Philippine base could decide the future of the world's most contested waters, and perhaps the peace of the planet itself. What do you think? Will diplomacy win the day? Or will history remember the South China Sea as the spark that set the world ablaze?